There's a part of you that you've been told to silence. From the time you were young, people said, be nice, be polite, be soft, don't be too much, don't be too loud. And little by little, you buried the side of yourself that was strong, fierce, and unstoppable. But let me ask you this, what has that softness gotten you? Did being polite stop people from betraying you? Did being quiet protect you from being walked over? Did shrinking yourself make you respected? Or did it make you invisible? Life doesn't reward the harmless, life respects the strong. And here's the truth you've been avoiding. You should be a monster. Not a monster that destroys, but a monster that cannot be destroyed. You should be the kind of person that people know they cannot take advantage of, cannot manipulate, cannot silence. Because when you are powerful and controlled, when you embrace the fire inside you instead of hiding it, you become unstoppable. The world is not kind. It's not designed to give you what you deserve. It's designed to test how much you're willing to fight for it. And if you step into that fight without claws, without strength, without the ability to stand firm, you will be devoured by those who do. But if you embrace your strength, your inner monster, you won't just survive. You'll dominate. So the question isn't, should you be a monster? The real question is, are you willing to wake up the part of yourself that's been caged for too long? Because the day you do is the day you stop being prey and start being powerful. The truth is, the world has no mercy for weakness. It does not pause for the fragile. It does not wait for the hesitant. And it certainly does not reward the ones who constantly seek permission to exist. This is a hard reality many avoid because it's uncomfortable to face. But look closely at life. Every opportunity, every reward, every victory is claimed by those who dared to show strength, not those who stood in the corner quietly hoping someone would notice them. The world is built on respect, and respect is never given freely. It's earned, and often it's taken. Think about it. The job you want, the promotion you dream of, the respect you crave in relationships, none of it is handed to the one who waits passively. It goes to the one who steps into the room with presence, with power, with an energy that says, I belong here, and I'm not leaving without what I came for. If you're weak, if you shrink yourself hoping kindness will shield you, you'll find out very quickly that kindness without strength is just an invitation for others to use you. People may smile at you, but they won't respect you. They may take advantage of your good nature, but they will never stand in awe of it. So weakness is not innocence. Weakness is a liability. And if you walk into life carrying that liability, you will pay for it through missed opportunities, broken trust, and constant disappointment. The world is competitive by nature. Every single day, someone else out there wants the same thing you want. The job, the recognition, the chance, the victory. The difference isn't who deserves it more. It's who's strong enough to take it when it's on the table. You don't have to look far to see this. History remembers those who are strong. Nations rise and fall on the strength of their leaders. Businesses succeed not because the founder was nice, but because they were relentless. Athletes become legends, not because they waited for permission, but because they were willing to go further, train harder, and fight longer than anyone else. Weakness never makes history. Weakness never inspires. Weakness never protects you. It only makes you vulnerable. Now here's where people get it wrong. They confuse strength with cruelty. They believe that in order to be strong, you must be harsh, aggressive, or cold. But that is not true strength. That is insecurity wearing armor. Real strength is controlled. Real strength is power with purpose. It's the ability to stand firm in a storm without losing your humanity. It's the ability to look someone in the eye and say, I will not be moved, not because you want to dominate them, but because you know your worth and you refuse to let it be diminished. If you want to understand the consequences of weakness, just reflect on the times in your life when you chose to be silent. When you should have spoken, how did that end? Did your silence buy you peace, or did it cost you respect? You should be strong enough that people know you are capable of being dangerous if you need to be. Not because you want to harm anyone, but because that level of strength creates respect. When people know you have claws, they think twice before trying to wound you. When people sense you cannot be easily broken, they tread carefully around you, not out of fear, but out of acknowledgement. Think about it. A lion in the wild doesn't have to roar to be respected. Its presence alone shifts the atmosphere. Other animals don't challenge it because they know what it's capable of. That is what you should strive for in your own life. Not to roar constantly, not to attack unnecessarily, but to carry yourself with such undeniable strength that the world sees you as unshakable. So many of us were raised to believe that being nice was the ultimate goal, but niceness without power is manipulation waiting to happen. People will smile at your face and take from you the moment you turn your back. Do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected? Because the two are not the same. Respect demands strength. Respect demands you know who you are, what you stand for, and what you will never allow. And here's the reality you cannot avoid. If you do not choose strength, the world will choose for you. It will test you, it will push you, and it will take from you until there is nothing left. Weakness doesn't buy you safety. It paints a target on your back, but when you become strong, when you build yourself into someone capable of enduring, resisting, and standing tall, that target disappears. You no longer walk through life waiting to be chosen. You walk through life knowing you belong. The world does not reward the weak. It never has, and it never will. So you must decide, will you keep hiding behind softness, hoping life spares you? Or will you rise, embrace your inner monster, and claim the power that ensures you're not just surviving in this world, you're thriving, unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable. Inside every person lies a side of themselves they often try to bury, suppress, or deny. It's the part of you that carries raw power, the part that refuses to bow down, the part that won't accept disrespect or defeat. For most people, that side is locked away because we are told from childhood to be polite, agreeable, obedient, and unthreatening. We are taught to avoid confrontation, to fit in, to make others comfortable, even if it costs us our truth. But the reality is, the version of you that will conquer life is not the one that bends to please. It is the version of you that taps into that hidden energy, that unrelenting force, the monster within. Now, let's be clear. Being a monster does not mean being cruel, reckless, or destructive. It does not mean tearing others down or living with hatred. Harnessing the monster within means awakening that untamed strength you've been holding back and learning how to direct it with precision. Think of it like fire. Uncontrolled, fire burns everything in its path and destroys indiscriminately. But controlled, fire gives warmth, light, and energy to build entire civilizations. Your inner monster is the same way. Left wild, it can cause damage. But trained, disciplined, and mastered, it becomes the most powerful force you will ever own. The problem is that many people fear their own strength. They are terrified of what will happen if they stop being too nice and start setting boundaries. They are afraid of how others will perceive them if they stop agreeing with everything, just to avoid conflict. They worry that showing power will make them seem unlikable, intimidating, or selfish. But think about it. Who are the people you respect the most in your life? They are not the ones who say yes to everything. They are not the ones who hide in the corner, hoping to never upset anyone. They are the ones who stand firm, who know who they are, and who do not compromise their values or dignity for approval. That is the essence of the monster within. Harnessing it begins with self-awareness. You must recognize that inside you is the capacity to fight, to endure, to stand tall when life pushes you to the ground. There is a reason why, even in your darkest moments, you haven't given up. That part of you that kept going, that part of you that refused to stay down, that was your monster. It's already in you. You've already felt it. But instead of summoning it when needed, many people bury it, hoping never to feel that fire again because it scares them. Yet what you fear is the very thing that can set you free. Imagine walking into every room knowing that if push came to shove, you have the ability to defend your boundaries, to speak your truth, and to stand unshaken. Imagine being so grounded in your own strength that you no longer need to pretend, no longer need to hide, no longer need to fear rejection or failure. That confidence doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from harnessing the monster within. It's the ability to say, I will not be broken. I will not be silenced. I will not be overlooked. That's not arrogance. That's survival. The monster inside you is also the protector. It's the one that will not allow people to walk over you anymore. It's the one that stops you from saying yes when your soul is screaming no. It's the one that keeps you moving forward when the world tells you it's over. But remember this, a monster with no control is dangerous. Harnessing means channeling. It means teaching your power when to speak, when to act, and when to hold back. Discipline is what separates the strong from the reckless. Anyone can lash out in anger, but not everyone can master the art of silence until the right moment. Anyone can shout to prove a point, but true strength can sit still and let presence do the talking. Harnessing your monster means turning raw power into precise action. This is why discipline must be at the core of your strength. Train your body to endure, so you know you're physically capable. Train your mind to withstand discomfort, so challenges no longer break you. Train your emotions so that even when triggered, you do not lose control. Each of these practices is how you leash the monster without killing it. Because the goal is not to erase that side of you. The goal is to keep it alive, sharp, ready, and disciplined so that when life demands it, you unleash it with purpose. And here's the truth. People respect those who have tamed their power. The quiet person who radiates strength without boasting commands more respect than the loudest one in the room. That's the monster within. Alive, awake, but not out of control. The person who can fight but chooses not to unless necessary is far more respected than the one who cannot fight at all. It's not about violence, it's about capability. When people sense you are capable of being dangerous, if pushed, they treat you differently. They treat you with respect. Harnessing the monster within also changes how you see yourself. Instead of doubting whether you belong, you begin to know that you do. Instead of questioning whether you can handle challenges, you trust that you can. You stop approaching life as if you're waiting to be chosen and start walking through life as if you already chose yourself. And when that shift happens, doors open. Not because the world suddenly became easier, but because you became stronger. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you fully embraced your inner monster? If you stopped holding back, stopped apologizing for your strength, and started using it to protect yourself, to pursue your dreams, to stand firm against the tests of life. That power is already inside you. It doesn't need to be created, only awakened. And once you harness it, once you learn to control it, you will never again walk this world as prey. You will walk as predator, as protector, as someone who cannot be broken, no matter how hard life tries. Too often, people think of discipline as punishment, as something restrictive that keeps them from freedom. But the truth is, discipline is the very thing that gives you freedom. Freedom without discipline is destruction. It is wasted time, wasted energy, wasted potential. But freedom with discipline creates a life of power, stability, and achievement. Discipline is what allows you to set your inner monster free when needed, but also to pull it back when restraint is necessary. It teaches you that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult deserves a response, and not every opportunity requires your energy. Without discipline, strength is wasted. You can be physically strong, emotionally tough, and mentally sharp, but if you lack discipline, you will self-destruct. Look at the athletes, leaders, and warriors throughout history who fell not because of weakness, but because of a lack of discipline. They had the strength to climb, but not the self-control to stay at the top. Talent and raw power can take you far, but only discipline will keep you there. The monster in you is powerful, but only discipline will keep it from consuming you. Discipline begins with small, daily actions. Waking up at a certain time even when you don't feel like it. Training your body even when you're tired. Saying no to distractions when your goals demand focus. These little acts of control are how you train the monster inside you. Every time you resist laziness, every time you choose action over excuses, you tighten the chain around your monster, not to suffocate it, but to direct it. When you build this muscle of discipline, you create a bond between your power and your control. The stronger that bond, the more unstoppable you become. But discipline is not just about doing what's hard. It's about building trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you reinforce the belief that you can rely on yourself. The monster inside thrives on that trust. It knows that when the time comes, You won't hesitate. You'll act, you'll fight, you'll endure, because you've trained yourself to do so. Without discipline, you hesitate. You second guess. You act on impulse instead of strategy. And in those moments, your monster becomes reckless instead of powerful. Let's be clear, discipline is not glamorous. It's not always loud, bold, or visible. In fact, discipline is often quiet. It's the choice to stay home and work while others party. It's the decision to practice a skill for hours when no one is watching. It's saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Discipline is forged in silence and solitude, away from the applause, away from validation. And that is why so few people master it, because they crave immediate rewards, not the delayed gratification that discipline demands. But those who do master it, they become untouchable. The chain of discipline also protects you from yourself. Because let's be honest, sometimes the biggest enemy you'll face is not the world, but your own impulses, the temptation to quit when things get hard, the urge to lash out when you're angry, the desire to prove yourself to people who don't matter, the pull of comfort when growth demands discomfort. These are battles you fight every day, and without discipline, you lose them. But when you build discipline, you train your monster to stay patient, to wait, to strike only when necessary. That is how you win. Not by reacting to every moment, but by responding with control and clarity. Think about the samurai. They were some of the fiercest warriors in history, capable of unthinkable violence. But what made them legendary was not their swords. It was their discipline. They could have unleashed chaos, but instead they lived by strict codes of honor, patience, and restraint. Their discipline didn't make them weaker. It made them unstoppable because their power was precise, not reckless. Your monster must be the same. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to respond to every challenge. You don't need to prove yourself at every turn. You need to wait, prepare, and strike when the moment is right. That is the art of discipline. And here's the beauty of it. Discipline is contagious. When you live a disciplined life, people notice. They respect the way you carry yourself, the way you don't bend easily, the way you stay committed. They may not say it out loud, but they see it. They feel it. And that respect is not earned by being agreeable. It is earned by being consistent, by being in control of your power. Discipline earns respect long after charisma fades. The truth is, discipline is not about restricting your monster. It is about giving it the freedom to exist in its purest, strongest form. Without discipline, your monster is untamed and destructive. With discipline, your monster is precise, patient, and unstoppable. You must train yourself daily, not because it's easy, but because without discipline, your strength will betray you. With discipline, however, your strength becomes an unstoppable force, guided by clarity, directed with purpose, and unleashed only when it truly matters. So ask yourself, are you living with discipline, or are you letting your impulses run your life? Are you training your monster, or is it running wild, wasting its potential? Because the chain of discipline is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. Master it, and you will master yourself. And when you master yourself, there is nothing in this world that can master you. Power without purpose is dangerous, but power used to protect what matters most is sacred. Too often, people believe that being strong means being dominant, aggressive, or feared. But true power is not about crushing others. It is about shielding the things that give your life meaning. Your values, your family, your integrity, your future. When you understand this, you stop wasting your energy proving yourself to the world, and instead you begin channeling your strength toward protecting what truly deserves it. The monster inside you was never meant to destroy blindly. It was meant to stand guard, to protect, to ensure that what matters most cannot be taken from you. The world will constantly test you, trying to strip away your identity, your principles, and your inner peace. If you are weak, you will compromise, you will bend to pressure, surrender to fear, and trade your authenticity for acceptance. But when you are strong, when you have built that monster within and disciplined it with purpose, you refuse to let the world dictate who you are. You guard your boundaries, you protect your time, you preserve your mental space, and you keep your values intact even when it costs you. That is the kind of power that cannot be broken. Protecting what matters begins with protecting yourself. You cannot defend your family, your goals, or your dreams if you are constantly neglecting your own well-being. Too many people believe that sacrifice means giving everything until nothing is left. But real sacrifice is sustainable. It comes from strength, not weakness. Protecting your body with discipline, protecting your mind with boundaries, protecting your emotions from manipulation. This is how you build a foundation strong enough to shield others. If you collapse, everything you care about collapses with you. So the first step in protecting what matters is strengthening yourself to become unshakable. Once you've built that foundation, you protect your relationships. Not everyone deserves access to you, and part of protecting what matters is choosing wisely who you let into your circle. Toxic people, manipulators, and energy drainers do not deserve the shelter of your strength. Save your power for the people who respect you, who lift you, who align with your values. Being strong doesn't mean carrying everyone. It means carrying the right ones, those who stand with you in the fight. Your monster was not built to serve everyone. It was built to guard the sacred few. Protecting what matters also means defending your vision for your life. The world is full of distractions, temptations, and voices trying to pull you off course. If you are not vigilant, you will waste your energy chasing approval, comparing yourself to others, or living someone else's definition of success. But when you are clear on what matters, when your monster is trained and focused, you protect your dreams from being stolen by distraction. You fight to keep your time sacred, your goals alive, and your future intact. This is not selfish, it is necessary. Because when you protect your vision, you ensure that your life carries meaning, not regret. There will be moments when protecting what matters requires confrontation. People will test your boundaries. Situations will demand that you stand up, even when it's uncomfortable. This is where the monster within is needed most. Kindness without strength gets ignored. Strength without kindness becomes cruelty, but strength controlled by discipline becomes protection. When someone threatens your values, your loved ones, or your dignity, your monster rises, not recklessly, but deliberately. It reminds the world that your strength exists, not to bully, but to defend. And that kind of power commands respect. Protection is not just about fighting others. It is also about resisting yourself. Protecting what matters often requires saying no to your own urges, no to laziness, no to fear, no to comfort zones, no to the voice in your head that says, give up. The monster within must also guard you from your own self-destruction. That is why discipline is so crucial. It ensures that your strength isn't wasted on temporary impulses, but saved for the battles that truly define you. Understand this, life will always try to take from you. It will try to take your confidence, your dreams, your peace of mind. But whether it succeeds or not depends on whether you protect what matters with unwavering power. When challenges come, you stand firm. When pain arrives, you endure it without letting it steal your identity. When people try to break you, you refuse to hand them the satisfaction of seeing you weak. That is real protection. That is true strength. Imagine a warrior standing at the gates of their home. Behind those gates are their loved ones, their legacy, everything that gives their life meaning. In front of those gates is the chaos of the world, threats, challenges, enemies. The warrior does not stand there because they love violence. They stand there because what is behind them is worth protecting. That is you. Your power is your weapon. Your discipline is your armor. And your love for what matters most is your reason. Without power, you cannot protect. Without discipline, your power becomes reckless. But with both, you become unbreakable. Protect what matters with everything you have. Guard your boundaries like a fortress. Stand watch over your values like a warrior. And never forget your monster is not your curse. It is your shield. It was given to you for a reason. Use it wisely, and nothing in this world will ever take from you what truly belongs to you. Transformation is not a single moment of glory. It is a process of pain, discipline, struggle, and rebirth. Becoming unbreakable is not about pretending life does not hurt. It is about allowing those moments of pain to carve you into someone stronger, sharper, and wiser. Every scar you carry, every disappointment, every betrayal, every night you sat alone wondering if you could go on, that was transformation at work. Not the kind you see in the spotlight, not the kind that gets celebrated, but the kind that happens in silence when no one is watching. The truth is, people want the strength without the suffering. They want resilience without the breaking. But the reality is this, you cannot transform into someone unbreakable if you have never been tested. Steel is forged only in fire. Diamonds are created under pressure. To transform into the unbreakable, you must first destroy the old version of yourself, the one that made excuses, the one that sought approval, the one that crumbled at rejection. That version cannot go with you into the next stage of your life. Transformation is ruthless. It demands that you shed what no longer serves you. It demands that you let go of weakness, of victimhood, of dependency. It demands that you take full responsibility for who you are becoming. The truth is, the hardest part of transformation is not what the world throws at you. It is the battle within yourself, between the person you've been and the person you are destined to be. But here's the beauty. Once you cross that threshold, once you decide that no matter what comes, you will not break, you become unstoppable. Because nothing external can destroy you anymore. People can doubt you, but they cannot define you. Circumstances can slow you down, but they cannot stop you. Pain can touch you, but it cannot own you. You may bend, but you will never shatter. That is the essence of being unbreakable. Transformation into the unbreakable also requires patience. Too many people quit. Right before the breakthrough, they expect change to happen overnight. But growth takes time. Think about the seed in the soil. It spends months in darkness before it ever breaks the surface. But when it does, it grows into something strong and rooted. Your transformation works the same way. Do not mistake the silence of your growth for absence of progress. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, the pressure, the struggle, the persistence, they are shaping you into someone you cannot yet see. Another key part of transformation is embracing solitude. When you are in the process of becoming unbreakable, not everyone will understand you. Some will question you, others will criticize you, and many will walk away because they no longer recognize who you are becoming. And that's okay. Transformation is not about keeping everyone comfortable. It's about stepping into your highest self. Sometimes that means walking alone for a while. But those who are meant for your next chapter will find you there, stronger, sharper, unbreakable. The final stage of transformation is ownership. Being unbreakable is not just about surviving hardship. It's about choosing how to use your strength. You cannot remain in the cycle of pain forever. Once you have endured, once you have grown, you must own your new self fully. That means no longer apologizing for your strength. That means no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. That means standing tall and saying, I have been broken, I have been tested, I have been scarred, but I am still here, and I am stronger than I have ever been. When you live from this place, you no longer fear what the future holds. You know that storms will come, challenges will rise, but none of them will break you. Because transformation has already proven what you are made of. You have already walked through fire and come out forged. You have already carried weight that should have crushed you. Yet here you stand, that knowledge becomes your armor. It gives you a quiet confidence and unshakable certainty that whatever comes next, you are ready. And here's the most powerful truth. When you transform into the unbreakable, you don't just heal yourself, you inspire others. People look at you and see not just strength, but proof that survival is possible. Proof that resilience is real. Proof that no matter how dark it gets, there is always a way through. Your scars become a roadmap for others. Your resilience becomes a light in someone else's darkness. That is the gift of transformation. It doesn't just change you, it changes everyone you touch. So if you are in the fire right now, if you feel like you are breaking, understand this. You are not being destroyed. You are being transformed. This is not your end. It is your becoming. Every challenge you face is shaping you into something unbreakable. Every battle you fight is carving strength into your soul. Every time you get back up, you are proving that nothing can shatter you. Transformation into the unbreakable is not about avoiding pain. It is about using it. It is not about never falling. It is about rising every single time. And when you finally realize that nothing outside of you has the power to destroy what's inside you, you will understand what true strength feels like. Unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. That is who you are becoming. When you choose to become a monster, not a reckless beast, but a disciplined force, you choose to stop being at the mercy of the world. You choose to stop being prey for those who exploit weakness. You choose to step into a version of yourself that can no longer be bent, manipulated, or broken. And that choice changes everything. The truth is, life will never stop testing you. People will try to push your limits. The world will try to take advantage of you if you let it. But once you've built the strength, the discipline, and the courage to unleash your inner monster, you no longer live in fear of what could happen. You stand ready for it. And that readiness, that power, gives you freedom. So don't shrink, don't hide your strength, don't apologize for the fire inside you. Build it, control it, and use it wisely. Because the world does not reward weakness, it respects power, especially the kind that is disciplined, purposeful, and unbreakable. This is your moment to transform. Not into someone who is merely surviving, but into someone who is thriving. Someone who commands respect. Not by words, but by presence. Someone who no longer fears the storm because they are the storm. Remember this, the monster within you is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally if you have the courage to awaken it, the wisdom to discipline it, and the strength to wield it with purpose. The weak will always fall, but the unbreakable, the ones who embrace their inner power, will rise, endure, and lead. Be that force. Be that presence. Be that unbreakable monster the world cannot ignore.